Hi everybody, Karen Tralfa here with Stampers Club, and I'm very glad that you've decided to join me today. I have two really super quick and easy cards to share with you. They are done with the Playing in the Rain suite, and you are absolutely going to love them. Let's get started. I'm going to show you what we're playing with. So like I said, I'm using the Playing in the Rain suite. It has some great, a really fun springy stamp set with some matching dies. And the designer paper in the suite is absolutely adorable. And it also has these really super cute little loose embellishments, these little doilies. They're like a bunch of little flowers. They come in they're different, couple of different sizes and two different colors. So those will be fun to play with too, right? So let me get started and show you what we're going to be doing first today. So I'm going to do this card first, right? You guys are going to like that. So what I did, I've started with, gathered up my supplies. This is some Granny Apple Green cardstock, some basic white that I've already pre-embossed with I don't think it's going to pick it up. Oh, there it goes. So it has these little raindrops on it. So it's Playing in the Rain. It's a little raindrop embossing folder. So I've already pre-done that, save a little time. And then this little circle is done with the stylish shapes. So it's got some pretty little stitching on the outside. And then just a little bit of that designer paper. So one of the dies would even cut out these little umbrellas. But I'm just using this really pretty little bright stripe. And some of the pale papaya velvet ribbon. This just makes it so soft. It makes such a pretty little accent on a card. And then, of course, I'm not even going to stamp that guy. He's actually in the designer paper, and the die is going to cut him right out. Now, this is specialty paper. I don't know if you're seeing that little bit of a glimmer go on there. So there's some shine to him. There is, of course, I could have stamped him. There is definitely a stamp for it. So I could have stamped and used some blends and colored them in or markers. That would have been fun too, but I said quick and easy, so I meant it. There we go. So let's get him cut out and we'll do some quick assembly. Let me get my machine in here and my plates. Okay. So I know I could have had that cut out too, but I wanted to really show you that yes, absolutely can this designer paper be cut out. So this die totally, just as long as I can pick it up, he lines up perfectly. So if you don't have the dies, of course you could fussy cut them, but you know, I like the dies. I like the perfect edge that it gets and the nice little cut that goes around it. Get my plate on top here and get that thing through. It's kind of fun when there's not even any stamping sometimes. As much as I love to stamp, this kind of like really makes it really super easy. Look at that. Perfectly cut out little turtle. He almost looks like a teenage mutant ninja turtle, doesn't he? Showing my age there. My kids, that was my kids' program that they used to watch. So I'm just going to fold my cardstock in half and use my bone folder to get a nice crisp edge here. Okay. And then before I do that, before I put this piece on, I want to do the front of it first because I want to add this little bit of ribbon and I don't want that to show. So I'm going to kind of assemble this part first. I'm going to get my tape here. I'm going to give this a little love there. And it is just literally right along the bottom. Of course, you're going to want to make sure that your raindrops are in the right direction, which mine were not. They were upside down. So let's do that. Others are going to have raindrops that look funny. They're going to be falling upside down raindrops. All right, and that paper's just a little bit longer. Let's just trim that. And then the ribbon. Oh, I think I'm going to stamp this first. Put my greeting on first because it'll be just a little easier while the ribbon's not in the way. And I grabbed one of the sentiments out of one of the other spring sets in the catalog, the Easter Bunny one. This just even says Easter Bunny. It's not necessarily an Easter set totally. Bunnies are traveling around all spring long, eating all your cute little flowers. But this one actually just says, enjoy all the little moments. So, like I said, some of these sets, you got to read what's in them and think outside the box, ladies. And I'm going to stamp that right on top of the designer paper. I don't know if you noticed that my stamp is mounted on an angle. Sometimes I find it easier not to look at the square, but to look through it and see where I'm placing it. And then it doesn't distract me from trying to line up the edge of the block. Just a little tip, if you have a stigmatism like I do, it kind of helps with that lining things up level. Let me get some tape on my ribbon here. And I'm just going to kind of layer it up just over the top. I thought I was going to layer it up over the top. Oh, my tape just isn't. Here, we'll do it this way instead. Here, that'll get it. It didn't quite stick to that ribbon. Lay that down there. Flip that over. See why I did this first? Because I want to be able to tuck this ribbon around the back side just a little bit and not have it be on the inside of my card. And then I'll get this right on the front here. Now this is definitely one of those little 1, 2, 3 cards. And my little circle. Get some dimensionals on it. Like I said before, what's a card without some pop? The easiest little thing. This was like the best invention ever in card making because you get so much for such a little effort. So I'm just going to put that right on there. And then I got to find my little turtle and a couple of more dimensionals. And I'm going to put him right over the circle. Now, could you get any easier than that? Isn't that just like super easy? Done. Bang. Enjoy all the little moments in life. A quick little stamper, right? Okay, so set that aside and we'll move on to this other one. Oh, wait. Okay, so next one. Let me get that out of the way. This one I didn't pre-prep or pre-do anything other than cut the paper. So we're going to need some balmy blue, cut the long ways, 4 1/4 by 11. Just some basic white, and then a couple pieces of designer paper and some ribbon. And I did pre-punch out this little balmy blue cloud. So that's the only thing I pre-punched out. So the card base, let me show you how I did that. Okay, so I've got it at 4 1/4 by 11. And I'm going to cut off 2 3/4, and then I'm going to score at 2 3/4. So that's going to give me that proper card size. Because like if I flip this over and I put that at the score line here, this is at 5 1/2. So that's your basic 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 card size that we're going to be using. That's what this extra piece that got cut off the side is going to do. Get that folded over. This is going to come down just a little bit in front of that, okay? So let's get to getting our parts and pieces put together that we're going to need. Going to just put this on here. Yeah, wait. We'll do this all together. So get that. And then what else we're going to have to prep up here is the deckled rectangle. So the deckled rectangles, these are a really nice little die set because they just give you this nice little soft little deckled edge around the rectangles. And I'm pretty sure I need, let's see, I think I need this one here. That one or that one? Nope, I need this one. Need that one. All right, so we're going to get that cut with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, I just need, that is not the right one. I do need the bigger one. Yeah, I do need the bigger one. All right, so we're going to get that cut. I always forget that these cut off a little bit. The die is a little bigger than the cup, right? So we're going to need to cut that. So we're going to need that piece. Put that back. Okay. And then on this piece, we're going to stamp just, let's see, we need the balmy blue and we need the little raindrops. And we're just going to run these raindrops across the side of the paper here. We're just going to randomly place these just so it looks like it's raining. Doesn't have to be loud. We're going to need this again. And then I'm going to get some scrap paper and a blending brush. Okay. So when I use the blending brushes, see these new little ones, these little minis? I love these. I just have more control over them when I'm working in small places. But I always want to, kind of give a little brush on some scrap paper first so that I don't end up with this great big smear that happens. Another way is to start on that other paper and then work your way on to the paper. And I'm just going to give this kind of a little, moody background because, it's kind of raining. And I just wanted to get that little mist in the air also. There we go. That's good. All right. And then on this also, we want to stamp our little puddle. And our little puddle is in basic gray. And we're going to give us a little puddle down at the bottom of the page. Now, what I'm seeing here is that I didn't get enough of the balmy blue down there on my puddle. It's just a little too white. There's no water around it. So let me come back in, and that's the nice part about the little one, is you can really control the space in which you're working with these smaller ones. And I just want to get a little bit more going on there by the puddle. Because you got to have a little more rain in a puddle than you do anywhere else, right? It's got to collect in there. All right, let's get rid of that. Now, I'm going to come back in with some of my Wink of Stella. I always forget about this. This is just one thing that sometimes you forget that you have, right? I want to make sure that's working right. And I'm going to go over the top of these little raindrops. I'm just adding a little bit of sparkle to my finished project here. Well, it's not finished, but for I want to give the rain just a little sparkle. Let that dry for a minute here, too. Just kind of going over the top of where I had stamped the raindrops. And you just get this pretty little, it probably doesn't really come out on camera very well, but you get this really pretty little sparkle. Love Wink of Stella. I know it's really hard to tell, isn't it? You can't, it's kind of wet, but it's kind of hard to tell. In person, it's a wow. Trust me. Just trust me on that. I'm going to set that aside to dry for just a minute while we prep up our little bunny. Now, if I remember, I did say that there was several images on the designer paper that you can cut out or die cut out. So this time, that was the turtle that we used. So now I'm going to go ahead and get this piece with this bunny on it. Just get right out of that paper. Okay. Get my machine back up here. Okay. And the right die for it. Let me get my little bunny die out here. See, bunnies are not just for Easter. They're just playing outside in the rain all spring long. Right? And that just lines up so nicely, doesn't it? Oh, I think my camera's shaking on my table. I'm not in my professional stamp room, I guess I should call it, because, I don't know if you're aware, but I do live in two places. I'm in Florida in the winter time, which I'm here now on Fort Myers Beach. Yes, Hurricane Ian did do some damage, but my house is still standing. I was one of the more fortunate people on the island that didn't have structural damage on their house. So we're here for a little while anyway, doing some work and cleaning up. Okay, so now that I've got this is probably dry, and I have my other parts and pieces that I need. I lost my ribbon, and okay, let's start doing some assembly here. Okay, so I'm going to take this pretty raindrop paper. Now these raindrops also have this clear shimmer to them because of the specialty paper. So one side of the specialty paper has that little shimmer on it, and the other side is unfinished and has other vibrant colors on them. Obviously, you saw that. And let's see if I can get this down just a little bit more. Okay. And then some of this, and then there's even like these umbrellas, these little ones, there's a die cut for these too. So there is quite a few matching die cuts. I love that our designers at Stampin' Up! Do that kind of stuff where they coordinate fun little ways to do things. Especially if you're not a very good stamper or colorer, right? You can have it just done for you. It's kind of almost like your own sticker. And then that goes up there. Now, this is that 2 3/4 piece that I cut off of it. And to me, it's just a little bit lopsided on the dimension here, because this is narrower than this is. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut off a little bit. We can start with 1/8 of an inch and see. Let's see what that looks like if I just cut off 1/8 inch. Does that look better? A little more centered. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Just trim that off by a little 1/8 of an inch. Now I could have used a second deckled rectangle. That would have looked lovely also. But this is, I told you it was going to be somewhat quick and easy today. All right, get that on there. Okay, so now to attach this, we're going to get it over the top of this. So when you're laying this out, if you flip it like a book, don't flip it upside down. You want to flip it left or right and get it where you want it on the paper, and then you can see where you should and shouldn't put adhesive. I'm going to use dimensionals, of course. I don't know what to tell you. I just can't do it without it. And we'll put that up there. They're so easy to use, and they just make you look like you've just, worked like so much more to put something together. But it's just it's a little shortcut trick to make your card just pop. All right, now to finish this off a little bit, we got to get our little guy on here. And of course, he's got to look like he's jumping, so we got to put dimensionals on him. Get that done. And let's see. Yeah, we'll make him jump a little bit more. Get him splashing in that puddle right away. All right. Now let's get our greeting going here. I am going to use Rainy Days Are Better With You. I think was the one I want to use, but I can't. Oh, there it is. There it is, right in front of me. All right, and that is going to get stamped in basic gray also. Okay. And I'm going to use this cloud punch, same one I used for that little blue piece, and we're going to punch this out. Of course, we always work from upside down on punches. Once we stamp, and then we can line up, all right? That's the beauty of our punches. Now, a lot of my stamping friends down here, we're all a little older, so this sometimes can be a little bit more difficult for you. If you put this right down on the table, you can still line it up, and if your hands are bothering you, you can always use your arm. That way you don't have that arthritis in your hand if that's a problem for you. It is starting to become a problem for me, that's for sure. All right, so there's two, I'm using this little blue because when I laid this on here, it was just like stark. So I wanted to soften it up a little bit. So I'm going to shadow it. I'm going to shadow it a little bit with the blue, and to me that just gave it a little bit of a softer appeal throughout the page here. You can play with this how you like. Do you want it to be, a little bit more in that direction? Have the shadow be a little bit more on the bottom of it. I ended up kind of liking it where it was off to the top a little bit. I don't know why. That's just the way I liked it. Of course, when you're creating, the beauty of it is there's no mistakes. There's just happy accidents sometimes. Get a couple more dimensionals on this. And did I get that off? I did. And we're going to get that just a bit tucked under his ear, just a little bit, because rainy days are better with you. And then I have a little piece of the petal pink ribbon. I forgot the full name of this one, sorry. But it's like almost a leather feel. Or like a suede. It's like a suede. It's very thick. It's very nice texture. And get a glue dot. This is an older row on the outside. And we're just going to add that right to the top of there. Give it a little bit of pizzazz. I think my ribbon's a little long on that one side, so we're going to give that a little bit of a trim. Give that a little trim. And voila! Now, you could also shine up that. Where's that Wink of Stella? I'm going to make my water puddle glittery. I didn't even think of that. I'm going to add a little bit more glitter right here to my water puddle. Ooh, I like that. I like that. I didn't do that when I designed it originally. Happy accidents when you see something else. Well, rainy days are definitely better with you, and I hope to see you back another day. Of course, if you want to subscribe, like, follow me, you can find me on Pinterest. I have a great blog at www.stampersclub.com. Feel free to reach out to me any way you want if you have any questions. Comments, I always answer comments, so those are always fun. But all of you have a great Stamp Happy Day.